Yeah, I'm here. You have your mic setting in OBS?
All right, can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me now?
You have your mic setting in OBS?
No audio. Okay. Um, it should be the audio input capture. It's hearing me somewhere.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, we good? Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Hi everyone. Welcome to ECH Postgame Live. The Kraken just dropped a hard-fought game, 2-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Patrick Laine with the overtime game-winning goal. We know he's a good shooter. Snipes one past Grubauer in overtime. Tough one to lose. But anyway, you may notice that it is just me on the screen here. It's just RJ. But Dylan is here. You'll hear his voice. Dylan, say hi.
Hey, hey everybody.
So the reason for that is that Dylan, due to a scheduling conflict, he's got to hop off here in about 15 to 20 minutes. So after that, it'll be just me. Um, that's the whole reason for this. But so for right now, we'll let's see. We're gonna kind of wait for people to trickle on before we kind of talk about the timing of everything. But let's start with just general thoughts from the game, Dylan. What do you think overall takeaways from this one?
Yeah, I mean, leave it to the Kraken to start their season off basically with the three different outcomes in their first three games, right? Start off with a regulation loss, then a win, and now an overtime loss. So, we've seen the gauntlet now of all the outcomes we could hope for. At least as far as the standings go and the points for the standings go. I thought it was an interesting game for the Kraken. I don't know if I would grade it well or poor for them. Um, they there were certainly times again where, just like with the first two games, where they completely dominate, and then there are other times where they just decide to be one of the most passive NHL teams I've ever seen. We've all been kind of nicknaming it the shell now, where they just decide, all right, in this game, in this case, it felt like after they got that big Tanev goal in the second period, for the rest of that period, they were just, okay, let's try to protect this lead, and it's like it's a 1 goal lead. What are you talking about here, guys?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing we definitely have to talk about is the shell, the dreaded defensive shell that we saw last game, and we were kind of hoping that the Kraken would get away from that and take a lesson from that this game. But unfortunately, no. I mean, it seemed as soon as the third period started, they went right back into that defensive shell. And, as you see, Philip Grubauer is not going to stop every single third period shot all season. It's just not going to happen. And you need to still generate some more scoring chances because a lot of the time you're going to need another goal to put the game away. It's just a 1 goal lead. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed seeing that they went right back to the defensive shell, and well, it didn't work for them.
Yeah, and the classic saying is, a 2 goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey because it's kind of enough for a team to maybe relax a little bit, not want to push too hard or take any, dangerous chances, and then that can generally leave things open for another team to build momentum. But yeah, it just felt like the Kraken were kind of in that same situation, but with only a 1 goal lead. So that was a little odd for me. One of the things that I thought was interesting for the Kraken in this game was, they took a lot of shots kind of from the perimeter. Um, a decent amount of point shots and all that, which, I've been pushing for them to do that on the power play. Only had one opportunity at that tonight, but one of the things that works if you are going to kind of try to shoot from the perimeter is you do need screens, or you need people in front of the net to kind of create a little bit of chaos. That way, once the shot comes in, maybe the goalie can't fully see it, but then also with the rebound, you have a chance to kind of knock that home. You've just got a bunch of bodies in a way. Maybe the opposing defense or the goalie kind of loses track of the puck, and that's how you can score goals. I mean, that's really how we've seen teams score consistently in the NHL the last few seasons. And it's just a little interesting that the Kraken haven't quite seemed to fully embrace that. Ryan Donato has,
Oh,
but
for
the rest of
sure.
the team, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, just like Donato, he's one of those guys crashing the net and everything, but yeah, you haven't seen the team kind of fully adopt that yet.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I mean, that huge game from Grubauer. He was fantastic, and Tanev doing it again.
Yes, Tanev. I mean, all-time franchise goal leader. We'll see how long he hangs on to that. He's shooting 50% this season. So yeah, but what a goal! What a goal from Brandon Tanev. We got to talk about that one. I mean, the patience to wait out Merzlikins like that, and Merzlikins is a good goalie too. He's not going to bite unnecessarily on things, but he had a bunch of time to work with, and he took full advantage of it.
Yeah, and that was something I didn't necessarily know Tanev had, was the patience to, sit there through all that and, know, okay, I'm going to look for the pass. It's not quite there. I'm going to make a little bit of a subtle feint, get Merzlikins to drop down a little bit, open up the top so I could take it there on the backhand. Didn't know Tanev had all that. We saw him with that breakaway opportunity in the first game where maybe he made one too many moves. Things were going a little quick for him this time, slowed it down, and was really able to bury that.
Yeah, for sure. And with that goal, we have to talk about the Grubauer save that led up to it too on line A, on a grade A scoring chance, and then on the rebound too, as line A was able to get the puck back to the middle. I mean, those are the kind of timely saves that you need to win games or to stay in games. So I mean, Grubauer was excellent all period, but especially that save. That goal probably doesn't happen without that save.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, Line got the game winner in overtime. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. I know his numbers the last couple seasons haven't quite shown that, but from a shot perspective, when he's feeling good, when he's feeling like he's got a good team around him, that guy is so dangerous. So, you know, to have him have a couple shots this game taken away by Grubauer was really impressive.
Yep. Okay, look at chat. Lazon Lazon had his best game until he didn't. That kind of popped out to me from the chat because I do want to talk about that. So before the game, I tweeted out that the Hayden Fleury Jeremy Lazon D pair worried me. That it made me nervous. And you know what? For most of the game, I thought they were actually okay, and they were fine. And then in the third period, it all kind of came apart. Lazon getting back to his overcommitting, to the right side. And I thought Fleury, for what it's worth, I thought Fleury was good all game. I'd keep him in the lineup, but yeah, unfortunately, it kind of got back to the problems that they've had historically, and they were on there for Columbus's tying goal, and yeah. So,
Yeah,
what do you think?
Lazon had two plays that stood out to me. The first one was with about a minute left in the second period. The puck gets played over to him. He was around the boards and he just misplayed it. I don't know if it, kind of hit a choppy part of the ice and maybe bounced over his stick, or he misplayed it, expecting it to bounce differently off the boards. I will say the boards around the league all play differently. That is something NHL players talk about a lot. That's one of those sneaky home ice advantages teams can have, is how bouncy they are essentially. But he misplayed that, and that led to a grade A shot for the Blue Jackets. And then about 2 minutes into the third period, there was another opportunity where he decided to. I think it was a 2-on-1 from Columbus, and he played the man but not the pass, and that was again another one where Grubauer had to kind of bail him out, and it was just that's something that's should be pretty worked into you by the time you're this far along in your NHL career. Is we see that all the time on 2-on-1s, right? The player will, end up all the way on his stomach just because he's making sure that pass is not there, because that's really what's most dangerous for the goalie. If you can keep it so that the player with the puck has to just shoot straight on the goalie should stop that most of the time. But the moment goalie has to move laterally like that, a lot of holes open up, especially the 5 holes. So I was a little disappointed in that from Lauzon. And then, yeah, of course, later in the game, they were on ice for the third goal. But I'm with you. I thought Hayden Fleury played pretty well.
Yeah, I agree, and I wouldn't mind seeing him with Giordano again if that's something that Hack still feels like he wants to try based on what the pairings are. So yeah, I do want to single out Hayden Fleury. I thought he was good, in a positive way. I think he was good.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought Susi played another good game, so
He did.
that's encouraging to see too.
Yep, agreed. Not sure what they can do to manage their energy. Maybe play the fourth line more, but playing playoff style hockey all year looks unsustainable. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I think it's kind of a thing where the coach has to set the tone, as far as how you want to play. And part of that is, not going into that defensive shell. I think just whatever personnel you put out there just needs to have the right mindset of what the game plan is. And I think at the end of the day, that comes down to the coach. So I think that's something Hackstall needs to kind of talk to the players about.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how much of it's really an energy issue. I don't think when they play their kind of ultra conservative style that it's necessarily because they're tired so much as that's just what they're kind of falling into. And I don't know if that's Hackstall wanting them to play that way or if that's just kind of what the players are naturally falling into. But it's clearly something that they, cannot continue for too long. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think the fourth line could get some more playing time. Again, one of the things that this team has on all these other teams in the league is their depth. So, you would like to think that you could see guys out there. Morgan Geekie had a couple good plays today, but it felt like this was the least I've seen him out there in all 3 games so far. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Geeky didn't really make an impact in this game. I thought not that much. Yeah, it's something where the depth is going to help. And kind of scrolling down in the chat, I think about how close the games are. The fact we still have Gordon Yarncroke coming back, that is a factor too. And you will have Gord coming back, and you will have Yarncroke coming back, and that's going to help with that.
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, the fact that this team isn't at 100% right now and they're still playing as well as they are, I really think this is a lineup, particularly with those guys out, that is going to kind of play up or down to the occasion, whatever it may be. I do think Columbus is kind of a sneaky good team, but, I just think we can expect a lot of 1-goal games going both directions, both wins and losses this year from the Kraken. I think that's just going to kind of be their MO.
Yeah, and I think you kind of you saw a little bit of that this game, where it's going to be close games like this, but you need a goalie like Grubauer to make it work. You need that energy to make it work. I definitely felt the lack of dudes ready to pull the trigger from the blue line with Dunn out. Yeah, losing Dunn does hurt. You do kind of see a more hesitation from the defenseman with Dunn out. I mean, it's just Giordano willing to move the puck. Although in the first period, like to start the first period, I think it was something like 5 of the Kraken's 6 shots on goal were from defensemen. But I think that speaks more just to the lack of quality scoring chances than it does, to how the D are feeling.
Yeah, and I will say Alexiak has seemed willing to do a lot more in the offensive zone. I think that's a big deal. I think activating him, he's not unskilled when it comes to playing offensive hockey and playing in the offensive zone there. Carson Soucy is doing a great job of moving the puck out of his own zone. Not quite as heavily involved, although, like you were saying, Giordano's there to kind of be involved in the offensive zone. That's not exactly what Soucy has to do. And, my criticism going all the way back to his Carolina days with Hayden Fleury is just I just think he needs to shoot more. I think he has a really good shot. He just never wants to use it. So at some point I want him to start working that in. And, he got some power play time today. If that continues, if Dunn is out for a little while and he starts working that second power play, I want to see him, launching some bombs from back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, everyone looks exhausted the last 5 minutes of these games. Maybe as more games happen, the stamina in the last minutes will get better. I mean, for this, I mean, I guess it was the last, minute or so that the Kraken kind of got back on their toes and were getting chances, over the Blue Jackets. So I think it's more of a mindset thing. I mean, last game, it's just because they were trying to hang on with the lead. So I think it's more of a mindset thing than a stamina thing. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that, especially because it's so early in the season. If we're talking, March and it's this issue, I'd say, well, yeah, these guys are probably burned out. It's a long season. You're getting to that point. it's I think I'm with you. It's probably a mindset thing again. These guys aren't used to each other yet. A lot of new stuff's going on with them. We're still not even a full month in from them starting their training camp, whole new city, whole new organization, brand new group of teammates, all that, all the stuff going on in their personal lives as far as moving their families with them over there up to Seattle. I don't know that's it's necessarily a stamina thing. I just think there's been a lot going on for these guys, and they might just be a little bit tired
Yeah.
in general. You know what I mean?
Yep. Agreed. Sub in Borgen for Lausanne on Monday. Yes, I would. I would have done it this game. I really want to see what Will Borgen can bring to this lineup. I certainly don't think the blue line as is perfect and set. I want to see what Borgen can contribute.
Agreed. And with that said, this blue line is actually still really, really good. Like it's easily top half of the league the way they've been playing so far. And I think they're really close to being one of the elite blue lines, top to bottom. Just with the way they've been playing, it's really just a couple mistakes every game that have kind of kept you from being like, wow, these guys are super legit. But I do think if Dunn's going to be out bringing Borgen in, who isn't afraid to maybe try to be a little more offensive at times, is probably the right call.
Yeah, agreed. Um, let's see. I've been disappointed with how inconsequential Eberle has seemed as well. I don't know. What do you think on Eberle, Dylan?
Yeah, we talked through the preseason, and certainly that first game in Vegas, we really liked his forecheck. Again, he's not like a super physical forechecker, but he does disrupt things in the offensive zone. Didn't feel that much tonight. He's kind of in a net front role, and I don't know that I like him there. I think I'd rather have Schwartz there, on the power play, kind of playing up there, or certainly even on 5-on-5. I think Eberle probably I can say for sure I think Eberle has a better shot than Schwartz, and I think Schwartz is a little bit better as far as sneaking behind a defense and finding open spots. So I'd like to see them kind of switch up. I think that's part of the problem is Eberle is playing this net front role that just isn't the most suited for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see, I guess, just some different looks, yeah, from that line in general. And, I know McCann's got a couple goals and, they've generated some offense, but I'd like to see, particularly, I guess, the last, couple games, just a little bit more from them at even strength.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that was my worry with him entering the season was particularly on the power play. This is just kind of the norm for him is he just kind of disappears on special teams, and I don't know why. Like there's no reason for it, but I don't know if it's just he was unlucky the last couple of years or if he didn't fit in with the system, the Islanders were playing, but it's definitely carried over to the Kraken.
Yep. Let's see. At least we got the Gary point. Yeah, I won't get started on my rant on loser points. Not tonight. We'll do it. We'll do it at a time, when the Kraken aren't the ones who get the loser point. But yeah, I'm against the loser points. I think it should just be, 2 for the winner, 0 for the loser. That's my take on it.
And I'm totally fine with it. So
yeah, of course, we've got to disagree on that. But we'll get into that debate later when the Kraken haven't just gotten a point in the standings from it.
yeah, but see, isn't it great tonight?
I guess.
Without it, you'd just be saying they blew a lead, right? Like so,
I mean, yeah,
keeping
everyone feels
that
better. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, other teams in the division will get these too.
Yeah, that's what I like. But yeah, we'll talk about it later. What else we got?
Let's see. Jackets are sneaky good, even without Pierre-Luc Dubois. Any team that can make the Lightning take out a full-page ad apologizing for sucking deserves respect.
100% agree. Definitely agree with that.
Yep, the Jackets will always make you work for everything you get. And that's something we do, going into this game. And I think they played in character tonight. The Kraken didn't get anything easy scoring wise.
Yeah, that's for sure. And they've got some, they're not superstar guys on offense outside of line A, but they have some really good offensive players too. Shout out to the former Winter Hawk, Oliver Bjorkstrand. He's really finally putting it together at the NHL level. I'm happy for him. But they got a lot of kind of guys like that can definitely surprise you if you don't take them seriously.
Yep. Lol, Max Domi going to lay a check to Alexiak. Nope. How's that shoulder? I'm glad you brought up Max Domi because he was someone I was watching from the start of the game because I saw him in the Blue Jackets 8-2 win over the Coyotes, and he looked really, really good to me, like excellent to me. I mean, there's a lot of open ice against the Coyotes team like that, but yeah, I liked how he played, so I was curious how he would do in this game. I didn't notice him a whole lot. Yeah, he didn't really stand out to me here. So obviously Max Domi was available in the expansion draft. He's someone the Kraken could have taken a flyer on, given their current depth at center and even on the wing. I don't know that they need him given what they have, but he's it's always kind of fun to look at those what ifs.
Yeah, I'm totally fine that they passed on him. It was a little bit of a head scratcher at the expansion draft, but I mean, looking at things now, he would just, kind of overly complicate the forward situation, especially playing such a similar style to so many players the Kraken already have.
Yep. Giving up one goal should usually give you a victory, and we tighten up when we get a lead instead of going for the kill. Yeah, exactly. It's that defensive shell we talked about. There's got to be more of a killer instinct. Go get that second goal, put it away.
Yeah, exactly what we were kind of talking about from the jump. You should never rest on a 1-goal lead. You gotta stay hungry for it. The Blue Jackets, they did a good job, I thought, of getting low in the zone, getting in front of Grubauer, trying to make stuff happen there. I think things would have looked a lot more dangerous if not for all of the shots that the Kraken blocked tonight. They blocked a lot of shots. I think Grubauer, the team would have been in a lot more danger had some of those shots gotten through just because the Blue Jackets, they had the personnel down there to do some damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. So do you think our best chances come trying to set up the cycle or just trying to go net front to look for rebounds? All right, this one, I'm curious to hear your answer, Dylan. I'll throw this one over to you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what I was just saying. I think they got to go to the net for rebounds. You just got to get in there. That's the way you score goals in today's NHL is, make the defense lose track of the puck, try to get it, try to get bodies in front of the goalie, try to get screens going. You can take the initial shot from the point, but if you don't have people up front to try to create a little bit of chaos, to be there for rebounds, to be there to, the puck gets kicked around, everybody's scrambling for it. That's when things happen. The goalie's moving all over the place, doesn't quite know where it is. You open up his legs, things trickle through. I just think the Kraken got to start doing that more.
Yep. Brian, big thank you. Brian on the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
Let's see. Back up in the chat. Let's see. A couple good chances they didn't capitalize on, had an open net and caught the goalie out of position. That would have changed the game. Okay, how about that chance with the open net and two Kraken players just totally whiffing on it as the puck's just bouncing around? Do you remember that one, Dylan?
Yeah, is that the one, Donato?
Yeah,
totally
Donato and someone else in front. Oh, man.
Yeah, that one, it's just, that's one of those things, right? The chaos in front of the net, the puck does weird things. Usually it can benefit you, but times like that it doesn't, right? I think it just hopped at the last second, so Donato's stick went right under it. But, again, look at how much chaos was there. Look at the fact that you had two guys, basically have a chance at a wide open net. That's exactly the kinds of situations that I think the Kraken need to be working towards.
Yep. Create more of those. I mean, that generates good things more often than not. And, as for the randomness of, that's hockey. Anyone who's played hockey at any level has experienced something like that, where the puck just hops right over your stick, as you got a wide open net. Let's see. It's like our coach after we got our first goal was like our play was grind out a 1-0 win instead of trying to make 2-0. Yeah, we kind of covered that. We don't want to see that mindset. We want to go for the kill. Tanev is our best player. Thoughts, Dylan?
I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made for that. Beyond just the fact that he leads, the team in goal scoring right now, he's playing with a ton of energy. He's the hardest one in there on the forecheck. He's beating out icings, and he does. He likes to play in front of the net. There's a lot of times you see him down low there. He's bodying up a defenseman. He's making sure he's kind of in front of the goalie. I think I think a lot of that's pretty important stuff, and he's the guy who's bringing that for the team. So I'm definitely down to give him that moniker.
Yeah, certainly so far. I think he's just been the engine that's driven a lot of what the team's doing. Let's see. Jackets goalie played well. Yes, he did. I mean, shout out Elvis Merzlikins. He's a great goalie. I've liked him since he came into the league. He's so big and so flexible too. I mean, how much width he's able to cover just with his legs when he goes down in the splits, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's a really good goalie. Blue Jackets got a good one there.
Max Domi said it would have been such a waste. Thank God we got Bayreuther. There's trade-offs with the cap space and whatnot. Gavin Bayreuther, Kraken legend.
Yeah.
I thought Drieger would have had a game by now. When do you guys think we'll see him in net? So yeah, we've said I think twice now in a row after our during these post games that we thought Drieger would get the next start. He hasn't. It was probably for the best tonight, as Grubauer was excellent. He'll definitely get one in these back-to-backs. You've got to think he's got to get one of these back-to-backs for sure. Do you have one in particular you think it's going to be? If it's going to be the first or the second one, Dylan?
I personally, I think I'd rather see him against the Flyers. I don't know. I feel like that game might be more suited for him, just thinking about what the Flyers have going on. They have some guys who can score for sure, but that's going to be a more physical kind of slog of a game I'm anticipating. Whereas with that New Jersey game, New Jersey, a lot of young forwards, a lot of faster guys. I think that's going to be a more up tempo thing, and I feel like Grubauer has done well when he sees regular shots. So for that reason, I think I'd rather hold Grubauer for the New Jersey game and start Drieger for against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I like that thinking. That's probably the way to go. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Drieger behind this defense, and certainly after the preseason he had. But yeah, I understand the temptation to keep playing Grubauer when he's kind of dialed in like this.
I do think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do think the defense is playing a lot better than they were in the preseason, so hopefully that'll help him out.
Yep. See, I hope we do better than 82 points in 82 games, but these have all been on the road and with injuries. Yeah, exactly. I mean, given who's still out and the fact it's all on the road, 500 is not a bad way to start. Given Grubauer's strong play, Drieger probably doesn't start until back-to-back. Yep, that looks like what it's going to be. Bayreuther haunts my dreams. He just left. I didn't know you could do that. My whole world is destabilized. Yeah, when you're a UFA, unrestricted free agent, you can go anywhere. You can just leave. That's how it works. Yep, I guess who knows? I don't think the Kraken probably offered him a contract at all. So I wouldn't say he slighted Seattle at all by leaving.
Real quick, because I gotta head out, but I do see that looks like Diamond Jim before Dylan leaves pick 3 stars. My 3 stars for this game would be Grubauer for sure, Tanev 100%. He'd probably be my first star, and then Jamie Alexiak. I really liked what he did tonight. Stepping up offensively, and that him and Larson, that pairing has definitely become their top pairing.
Yeah, I like those picks. Obviously, I got to go Grubauer number 1, Tanev number 2. I think it's hard to debate that at all this game. My 3rd star is one that requires a little more thought. I'd probably go Hayden Fleury. I liked what I saw from him all game, and especially kind of covering for his deep partner sometimes. And yeah, I'll go Hayden Fleury.
And it's worth noting, Fleury was pretty banged up on that hit he took up against the boards. It looked like it caught his hip right at the top of the dasher there, and that seemed to bother him for a little while. So,
yeah, that's a tough one, but he played through it. Credit to him, he played through it, and I thought he did well. All right, so you gonna head out, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. Sorry again, guys, but I will see you all. Was it Monday, the Flyers game?
Yeah. I believe that it is Monday. So yeah, we got back-to-backs on Monday and Tuesday. Dylan and I both will be there for post game after those two. So now that we've got some more people in the chat, because I didn't want to mention it right off the top because people were still coming in, I have a little announcement just about the kind of the timing of all this. So first I want to say it's been awesome, like staying on with you guys. These last two post-game lives have gone for, at least like an hour and a half, lots to talk about. And it's awesome that you've just like stayed with us the whole time. And we love that. We could talk Kraken hockey forever. But I think just in the interest of, a brevity in everyone's time, I think we're going to probably try and cap these at about an hour going forward. I love that you guys are all here in the chat with us and hanging out with us, and it's great. But yeah, I think we're probably going to cap these around an hour, just so you guys all know. It's 82 games. It's a long season. Obviously, if something, some crazy game happens, someone gets 5 goals, or like a playoff game, obviously, that can be flexible. But I think that's what we're going to do going forward. All right. So I think it's just me now. So looking back to the chat, let's see. Makes sense. Dylan and his team just got to send it. Yep, sure is. Let's see. I love Grubauer, but he needs a rest. Yeah, I mean, it's important to keep goalies fresh, and, they can look like they don't need a rest this early in the season, but it's still good to get them some time off. That's why you have a goalie tandem like you do. Agreed. I think it's important. But Drieger will get into games, and you'll have it rotate some more. It's just when Grubauer's playing as well as he is, it's hard to put him on the bench. $20 is like 10 Gatorades. Yes, that's going to buy us a whole bunch of Gatorades. Thank you again, Brian. Do appreciate that support. Dylan and I do need our Gatorade stream fuel, so appreciate that. Lozon needs to be scratched. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of pointed that out. I'd like to see Will Borgen in there instead. Let's see. I'm worried Drieger won't stay sharp if he doesn't get some play time, but he's great too, so who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's you want to help him get in a rhythm too. I mean, it's tough just sitting on the bench for as long as he has. I mean, I guess one good thing is that he's got a lot of experience being, not a team's top option in net and just coming in for only a few games. He played in the ECHL, not too long ago. So he at least does have some experience with that. Let's see. Pretty new to hockey and finding it difficult to understand when a set play is being run, but how are the Kraken executing set plays? It's one of those where I guess one of the things you want to look for, especially like in the offensive and defensive zones, because that's where most of set plays are being run off of those faceoffs usually. Look for when the player alignment off the faceoffs is different from just, center there and each winger to the side of him. Usually if there's someone else in a different position or if they move a defenseman up, you can tell a set play is probably in the works. And John and JT will also let you know sometimes on the broadcast or Everett and Mike, they'll let you know when a set play is about to be run. There aren't a whole lot that I'm seeing from the Kraken so far. They haven't had a whole lot of time to set up kind of set plays, especially on the power play, to do certain things they want to do. Occasionally you have like off an offensive zone face off, they'll bring Donskoy out to the middle for like a one-timer. I remember they did last game. But yeah, I mean, it's just little things like that where you kind of look at the different face-off alignments and see what's happening. But yeah, and I'll try and point those out on social media more too. If you follow us on Twitter, if they're, have set up a set play or they're running something like that. And I think we'll see that more once they come home and I have more practice time at home. We're appreciative of what you're willing to do for us. Thank you guys. Love it. You're doing well to help build a community. Thank you so much. Two-tone xylophone. Appreciate it. Was Barry Boulay benched a little this game? I think he was the only Kraken with single-digit time on ice. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was looking at the time on ice stats after the first period, and Barry Boulay was actually third on the Kraken among forwards in ice time. He had 5 minutes to 25 seconds of ice time, which was third. So I almost didn't remember him out there. I'm like, really? He got that much ice time? And then I didn't notice him at all in the second. So I went to check the ice time and it was like 7 minutes. So he barely played in the second, didn't really play much in the third. Let's see what his final ice time figure was. I don't think it was very high, but yeah, I think one of the things that Hackstall did, and you saw it with the starting lineup. The starting lineup was like that Wenberg and Donskoy line where Barré-Boulet would normally be there, but Tanev was playing the other wing. And I think the reason Hackstall did that is, well, we know what Brandon Tanev brings. He brings energy and he wanted that for the start of the game. And so kind of throughout the game, he subbed in Brandon Tanev on that line a little bit in Barré-Boulet's place, which, I mean, hey, given the way that Tanev was playing, I don't blame him. I mean, that's, I don't mind that. And I think Barré-Boulet kind of had a quiet game today. Yeah, 8-12 of ice time is final ice time figure. So yeah, that's not a whole lot. But I think it was more a factor of Brandon Tanev being someone who's slotted on that line to double shift. And the way Tanev was playing, you got to keep that up. Let's see. Yeah, Google 2-1-2 forecheck. That should bring a bunch of different types of offense plays. Yes. Google that. There's a lot of good videos out there on different types of offensive plays that teams will run, especially, in transition. That's one thing the Kraken did work a lot on, is running different plays on the rush in preseason. So we've seen some of those. They love drop passes. You got initiated a drop pass, you'll have a player skating toward their offensive zone through the neutral zone really fast, and then they'll just drop the puck behind them to another player skating in. The Kraken like to do that a lot. Let's see. On a side note, your old team, the Sharks, are playing their first game tonight. Will they suck again this year and make easy prey for the Kraken? Okay, got me talking about the Sharks. I think the Sharks are going to be better than they were last season. They've overhauled the goaltending, which I think is going to help a lot. Martin Jones did them no favors last season. They've improved the third line. I still don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're kind of around that spot that is the absolute worst place to be for a team, which is firmly outside the playoff picture, but not anywhere close to last place, where you're not even getting a high draft pick, but you're not making the playoffs. So I'd be interested to see how they match up against the Kraken. I do think the Kraken will match up against them pretty well, though. I would expect that they do pretty well against the Sharks. So it was the coach's decision not to play him later. No injury or anything. Yeah, no injury. It was just a coach's decision. It was Hackstall kind of wanting to get Tanev in on those lines. Watched the game on NHL Center Ice, had to turn off volume as it was the Blue Jackets announcers, was listening to the Kraken radio broadcast instead. Yeah, the Kraken, Kraken's they have a good radio broadcast. I don't blame you wanting to listen to it. I'm not too familiar with the Blue Jackets announcers. Of course, I saw the Kraken broadcast with Forsland and JT Brown. But yeah, it's nice to hear the radio announcers sometimes too. Let's see. Oh, we have someone who was at the game. I was at the game. The away jerseys look as great as advertised. So did Grubauer. Need to work on neutral zone control. Yeah, I agree. That's something that the Kraken do need to work on. Excuse me. They had times where it was better than others. Okay, I'm curious. Neptune Magnus, you were at the game. How many Kraken fans did you see? What was the turnout like as far as Kraken fans in Columbus? I mean, that's a tough one. It's, all the way, most of the way across the country out in the Midwest. So did you see a lot of Kraken fans? What was the environment like? Very nice crowd, few crackhead comments, but nothing horrible. Okay. Yeah, we heard a few of those in Vegas, but again, nothing too much. That's great. I have not been to a game in Columbus yet. Definitely want to do that at some point. It seems like a cool rink. I want to hear the cannon go off after a goal, preferably not after a goal against the Kraken, but yeah, the cannon is a unique part of that rink. Can we get a 30-second Philly preview? Can't wait for the boys to put a few past Kata hot. I mean, you look at Philly and, they're a team that's, had an interesting start to the season. They just lost last night in a shootout to the Canucks 5-4. They've kind of overhauled a lot of their defense after it was pretty bad last season. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a team that's still trying to get some chemistry defensively. Um, and that's something I think the Kraken can take advantage of, especially if they keep a strong forecheck. So that's something you're going to want to do. And that it's a 1 game sample size this season, but Carter Hart didn't look very good. He was pretty bad last season, and as someone who was prominent in the state of Washington with Everett and everything, you want the best for him, but it looks like he's still a bit off. So I mean, that's something that the Kraken could possibly take advantage of. Or if the Flyers decide to start Martin Jones, even better for the Kraken. I mean, he's looked every bit as bad in the preseason for the Flyers as he did with the Sharks the last couple of seasons. So I think you're probably going to get a good, favorable situation, whichever Flyers goalie you end up playing against. All right, let's see. Very nice. Oh, wait, no, we already saw that. I saw maybe 10 Kraken fans. Yeah, it's tough to travel all the way out there. It's a long trip for those. And, I don't know how many Seattle transplants there are in central Ohio. It's not the Crackhead's name. I'm not really a fan of that. I wouldn't use it for ourselves, but it doesn't get to me, here in the comments. It's something you kind of have to know is coming with the name, but I think Kraken is a really cool team name. It's definitely worth the trade-off for whatever, crackhead type comments you might get. So I'm it doesn't bother me. I watched yesterday's Flyers game. It got exciting at the end, but Carter Hart could not close off the net. So many leaky goals. Yeah, it's been tough for him, just keeping the net empty. And a couple of those off weird bounces, bad angles, just send lots of pucks his way from wherever you can. That would be my advice to the Kraken for this next game. Do you think 2 wins on this road trip would be good? Let's see. They've already got 1. I think it'd be okay. You'd like to certainly at least split these back-to-backs. Certainly given the opponents are 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs last season and, didn't come all that close to it. So, you got to be happy with that, just given how tough it is to start, the franchise and everything on a road trip. I think, you can be okay with 2 wins, especially with an overtime loss there, and basically going back into your home games 500. So I think you'd be okay with that. Have a sneaky feeling that Eberle finally buries those shots he has missed off the post. Yeah, I know. He's hit some posts. He's found the iron. It's going to happen for him at some point. He's too skilled a player to not be scoring, and to stay on this. And he's still got 2 assists in 3 games, which is not bad. He's still been a part of that line and everything. But I think the pucks are going to go in for him. And I think we'll see it. I don't know. I just got a feeling I think we'll see it as soon as they head home. I could see him, being the first one to light the lamp, in Seattle once we get there at Climate Pledge Arena. First home game will be amazing. Yes, it will. And excuse me, I wanted to talk about Climate Pledge Arena because I live right over by the arena. I've been walking around there just about every day now. I was out there again today. It's really shaping up. They still have all the fencing around it and everything. So you can tell there's definitely still some construction work being done. But they told me that the fencing around it will be removed by Monday at the very latest. So I'm going to get you some looks from as close as I can get, once that fencing comes down. I think then you can just walk up, to the doors and everything. But it's looking like an awesome arena. I was out there today talking to a bunch of people who had been inside, and they were just telling me how great they thought everything was. They had a lot of people who will be working at the rink there today. So I was able to talk to them, people who have seen the inside, seen the ice, seen the Zamboni. There was a guy who posed with the Zamboni and was showing me. It's going to be an awesome venue. And I hope you're all able to make it out there, as soon as you can, because it's going to be an amazing venue and atmosphere. I'm doing a podcast on Monday. Yes, the next podcast will drop on Monday. We're going to talk about some game experience stuff. We're going to preview the home opener. Yeah, we've got some good stuff to talk about for that podcast that'll drop on Monday. Stay tuned for that. It'll be out very early Monday morning. Yeah, I saw the pics on Twitter, looking good. Yeah, took a bunch of pictures today too. Yeah, it was a challenge on some of them to try and kind of get up and over or under the gate, but yeah, I got some good pictures. There's a lot of Climate Pledge Arena signage out there. One thing I didn't get to post was they had a statue there, or a sculpture there that was kind of covered up. You couldn't see exactly how the sculpture looked, but I saw the name Tsutakawa on the bottom. So I think I looked it up. It's a sculpture called Sea Wave by Gerard Tsutakawa. So that'll be outside the east side of the arena. That's going to look cool. Yeah, Climate Pledge Arena was turned over to workers yesterday. Yeah, I saw that it was. So it's been turned over to the workers. I think there's still a little bit of stuff to do. I overheard one of the workers yesterday. He was asked by a woman walking by, like, "Oh, so is it going to be, is it going to be done by the end of the weekend?" And he's like, "Well, define done," So I think there's still a little bit left to do, but I'm sure it'll be good to go by the home opener a week from today. Yeah, you're lucky. Traffic is probably going to be horrible. Yeah, it's going to be tough if you're driving, for sure. It's going to be tough around here. I'm lucky I can just walk to the arena, no problem. But yeah, it's going to be a tough traffic situation. But one of the good things though is that your ticket will function as a public transit pass. So you can take the bus, you can take the monorail, and I think your ticket should function as a pass for that if you're within range of public transit. So that's a good feat. Yeah, use the light rail. The light rail is going to be great. So you can use that for free. It'll get you to the game. As long as you have a ticket, it'll function as your pass. So I think that's awesome that the Kraken are doing that. Let's see. Did you say game experience? Yes, we will talk game experience. I promise, Sergeant Pickles. Did the Kraken win? No, they did not win tonight. Hi, Ray. No, they did not win tonight. They lost in overtime. It was a close game, though. We know you're a true fan because you bought your house next to Climate Pledge Arena on purpose. Okay, so I'm in an apartment. That was a factor, honestly, in choosing an apartment. Of course, I knew I was going to be doing this. Emerald City Hockey was still, very much a thing in my mind. So yeah, I did choose an apartment close to Climate Pledge Arena. I wanted something within walking distance for games. And I'm very happy with being as close to it as I am. And what's cool is I get to just walk out there just about every day and see the progress. So, as it's been going along, I've gotten to, walk by there and talk with a lot of the construction workers, and, they've given me good updates on how everything's going. And they're so nice too. And they love the stickers. You can see the Emerald City Hockey stickers on the hard hats, as you're walking around the construction site, which is so cool. I give them out and they love to put them on the hard hats. So, yeah, and they've done a great job too. I just want to thank, all the construction workers who are working on building this awesome arena for all of us that we're all going to get to experience. So they've done a great job. My friend got to work on the transit integration project. Very cool. He also says, take the light rail. Yep. Take the light rail to games. That's the way to go. Drive to the Angle Lake rail station. If you live in the South Sound, parking is free. Yeah. Park and ride. That's another good way to go. Take the light rail to games. Climate Pledge Arena workers. Oh, that guy is back. Look busy. No, I mean, they are, sorry, that made me laugh. No, they've been very busy. They've got a lot to do. Yeah. When we were, I think about 3 months out from it being, 3 months ago, they said, yeah, we've got like 7 months of work to do in 3 months. So they've had a lot to do. And a tight timeline, and you could tell it's coming right down to the wire. So, they have been very busy, but they've definitely made some time to talk to me, which is very nice. So I do appreciate that. And hopefully some are watching right now and are following along. I know we've got a lot of Twitter followers from that. So, I appreciate everything they're doing. All right. So see the chat kind of slowing down. We are just about at the 50-minute mark. Okay, one question here. What's the average increase in ice time for each of the Kraken players? Imagine a lot of them are playing up in the lineup, more time on ice than ever. Yeah, I will look into that. You know what? That's something for an article. That's something for an article later. That's a great question. I don't know offhand to tell you, but that is definitely something I'm going to look at, because that was one of the whole narratives that we have, right? Is bigger roles, more time on ice, more opportunity. So I'm going to take a look at that. Maybe after a couple more games for some sample size. But yeah, that's a good article idea. I think I'm gonna take that one. Any word on pregame festivities hosted by the team? Okay, no, I haven't heard anything. But I guess that shouldn't be too much of a surprise, because I mean, looking at the expansion draft, we didn't know, up until less than a week to go, we didn't know what the plans were going to be. So I just think that seems to be the MO with the team so far. I would like to hear something about what's going on. Yeah, hopefully we get some more information real soon. Yep. Any chance Client Pledge Arena won't be ready next Saturday? No, it'll be ready. Not a chance. It's all good to go. It'd probably be fine even today, but it'll be ready. All right, so we're hitting that close to an hour mark. So I think I'm gonna head off. Thank you everyone for joining us for another post game live. We will see you again on Monday with Dylan. Also, one quick plug before I go. We still have our Twitter 2,000 follower t-shirt giveaway. If you haven't entered, all you gotta do is follow us, retweet the tweet. You can win a Geeky Squad t-shirt. It's a really cool shirt. Show you're on the Geeky Squad. We got a lot of interest in that, so make sure to join, and winners are announced on Monday. So yeah, make sure to enter that, and I'll see you in a couple days.